parents, teachers, vice principal, principal, chairman, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to come and say a few words in front of you. But I also want to say a special thanks in the way you arranged the program so that you put a decent sort of time gap between the valedictorian's address and my speech, because I would have looked pretty lame going straight after them. So thank you very much for giving some air gap between them. It was a wonderful speech by the valedictorians, and looks like you're not only a set of students who study well, but you also have a lot of fun. So a big round of applause for you to begin with. So to paraphrase Winston Churchill, he once said that if you want me to give a talk for 3 minutes, I need about 3 weeks to prepare. But if you want me to talk all day, I'm ready right now. So I was given about 2 or 3 days, so I asked if I could speak for like 6 minutes, and I'll try to keep it within my 6. I just have a few things to say to the students, and these are things I wish somebody had told me when I was graduating, and a few words for the parents as well. So in my view, the future is going to be awesome, right? So despite of whatever you hear in the news, all the gloom and doom, the brightest days for our country, for the world, is really in front of us. We're going to go through a massive growth period. Yes, there will be some disasters here and some crisis there, but the real big opportunity really is in front of us. There are some massive opportunities coming in education, climate change, genetic technology, mobile phones, self-driven cars, you name it. And the best news is you are going to be the ones who are going to be solving and taking advantage of all these opportunities. So the future really is in front of you. And in the next 3 to 4 years of college, you're going to prepare yourself for which one of these opportunities you're going to pick your rest of your career in. And not only are you going to pick your career, but you're going to have to figure out you're going to be happy in your career or not. And that's a pretty tall order. Now, nobody can sit here and tell you what the hottest job area is going to be, or what the best career is going to be 15 years from now. So when I passed out of IIT and in the 80s, the late 80s, with a chemical engineering degree, it was not at all clear whether software or IT is going to eat the world. Maybe being a chemical engineer was probably a cool thing to do then. I'm glad I didn't pick that path. But the point is that it's very hard to tell what the future is going to be like. What I would say is that there are a few things you can do to prepare yourself for this world and for your career ahead. And the rule number one, which is a very important rule, which again nobody told me, is that there are no rules, there are no formulas. Until then, until you studied, until you finish your 12th standard, the game is pretty well set. You study hard, you go, you participate in your extracurriculars, you take IIT exams and your engineering and your chartered accountant, and just basically you study for what you need to do. You study your commerce, your science, and your maths, and that is the right thing to do for the up until you're finishing your 12th standard. But being a doctor or a chartered accountant or an engineer might have been the cool or the safe thing to do for your parents' generation, which includes myself. Just like getting into a factory job or a government job was the right thing to do for your grandparents' generation. Like my dad was a government servant and was quite proud of it. And in his generation, that was the right thing to do. But how many of you think it's the coolest thing to do is to take up a clerical job in the government or be a factory manager, right? It is just not, the world has changed. And so what was cool for your parents or your grandparents might not be the right thing for you when you grow up. And the only way you can prepare for it is to stay curious and take risks. So one thing you'll suddenly realize when you go to college is that you're going to have a lot more time in your hands than you did at school. And it's honestly up to you to make the best use of it. It would be the best time to experiment with new fields. It's the best time to learn new things about yourself and meet completely new people. Be open. Don't hang out with the same crowd that you always hung out with. Try a summer job. Try to get an internship. Try to go to as many extracurricular and external events as you can. Take classes in Coursera or Udacity, which you have probably already done, a few of you. Travel to new places to the extent you can. push some boundaries. Remember that you need to prepare for a life of your own, and you just got 3 or 4 years. And whatever your life is going to be, I can assure you that it's not going to be a straight line. That is just the way life evolves. And the best thing you can do is to be prepared as to how to take the zigzag path that in the life that awaits you. And the more experiences you have now, the better prepared you're going to be. So specifically, I would say get out of your narrow fields. In my view, the interesting things are going to be in interdisciplinary areas, bioinformatics, tech, media, bioclimate change. You know, the gaps are where going to be the biggest opportunities. Now, one other thing I would say to you is shoot high. I have a personal story when I was in 11th standard, believe it or not, television had just come to India, totally dating myself. This is how 80s was. And I thought it was a very cool thing to learn how to repair TVs. And I wasted an entire year, 11th standard. After school, I would go for a 3-hour TV repair class. In spite of my dad constantly telling me it was a stupid thing to do and I should be studying for IIT instead. Luckily for me, he paid for the class and I wasted a whole year. And it took me about 10 years to realize that that was an utter waste of time and I should have shot much higher than to have a hobby of TV repair share or whatever that was. It was an entirely worthless skill. My point is that you need to shoot the highest possible, to the highest possible level that you can. And you can be a top-notch scientist. And you should be an employer, not an employee, right? So as you're thinking about your career, I would strongly advise you to say, how can I be the boss, not how can I be the employee? Why can't I start a school, right? And I have 1,000 students. So whatever your interest is, you want to be the best that you can be. And I did have one fourth item on my list, which was hard work. But I think it's a moot point for CMRIT and PS students. I would say maybe you guys should chill out a little bit. You probably do work very hard already. So a quick note for the parents. I'm a parent of not just one, but 2 high school teens and twin girls, that too. So to those lucky parents who have obedient children and they listen to all of you, I would say one thing, just be careful. I hope you're right that the advice that you give them will be right for them in 20 years. But to all types of parents, I say the best thing you can do is to give them the best launch pad that you can afford. You've already given them a terrific school education, and you're going to, I'm sure, get them through college, and you've given them your values, and those are the most important things, even though it might not be obvious right now. And from now on, the best thing you can do is to give them pointers, and give them the opportunities to explore, and even if they fall, let them fall. But do not tell them what to do, and do not set unrealistic expectations, and definitely do not try to satisfy your unfulfilled dreams through them. That would be a bad idea. Many of us were raised to settle down and get a good job, and I'm glad I did not personally follow that advice. But this is what we had to do in our day. And even today I see a steady stream of 20-somethings to 30-somethings to 40-somethings who are very unhappy with their job. They leave their jobs to find their passion. And I can assure you that for your children, they are going to be seeking their passion. It is that is where the future is. And it's best if they find the passion on their own. And what we can do them is to give a good foundation and then get out of the way. Let them figure it out. They clearly are very, very smart, and they will figure it out. Good luck with your exams and good luck with what lies ahead. Thank you again for giving me the time to come and talk to you.